Hey, UI mamas, welcome back from the
Welcome back.
commercial break. Hey mamas, how you doing? How
Y'all
you
hanging
hanging
in
in
there?
there? Exactly. I know it's a lot. So this episode, Kiana and I just want to share kind of a revelation we both had last week about this time.
Yes.
You know, folks, I like a plan. And in this time, there is no plan. So
Right.
I've been experiencing a level of anxiety that, I don't normally experience in regular life. Also kind of the pressure of being my kids all and everything again is a lot, even though they're teenagers. And something just hit me the other day, just like, what do I really want my kids to remember about this time?
Right.
Our kids are still making memories. And I think the biggest thing for me is I want them to feel loved and I
Hmm.
want them to feel joy.
Right.
I want them to feel cared for. And yes, I also want them to be well educated and all these life skills that we could put on them. And take every opportunity to expand their horizons. But
Hmm.
I think in this time of high stress for everyone and concern, I think the most important thing is that we just build memories with our kids.
I think so. I
Because
think that's most important. I mean, honestly, it's what they take from this that happens. I mean, they're going to remember it no matter what
exactly.
because this has never ever happened before. So they're going to remember it. It's how they remember it. You know what I
Totally.
mean?
Yeah.
And that's going to be the really important thing. I think I saw something on Facebook somebody posted where it was supposed to be like in the future, a kid saying, "Mom, I don't remember, like, what was that all about?" And the mom saying, "Remember, we had to do this and we couldn't do that and da 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 da." And then the kid was kind of like, "Oh, I just remembered like we had picnics and we did this and we did that." Kind of like their perspective on it came out
Totally.
to
What
be totally different than what, you know.
and that's what I think. I think we have to remember, moms, like our children will color whatever experience they have with how the impression we left with them. Like I think I shared before, my family went through some hard times, but I don't remember that. I don't ever remember being without
Right.
because I wasn't. And my mom presented rice and beans like they were the most beautiful thing on pieces of fine china that she did have. And we ate it by candlelight. And I didn't realize we didn't have electricity. We just was being fancy.
Right.
And so I think during this time, moms, let's just think about some fun ways to make our kids memories. So Kiana and I are going to kind of share just today some different things we're doing and different ways our kids are responding. And I really want you to hear our heart here. Our hope is for it to release your anxiety, not for it
Right.
to put one more thing on your list. Okay, now I got to make great memories. No, please. Like, I want when you feel stressed out about your kids' Common Core math, when you feel stressed out because your kids' room and your whole house looks like the
Tornado
Tasmanian
came through it.
devil, but been done spinning through. I just want you to remember our words of encouragement about making memories.
Right.
So
And
the
it
first
doesn't,
thing, oh, go ahead,
it
Kiana.
doesn't have to this that obviously unapologetically imperfect. We're not and nothing has to be perfect, but
No, no,
everybody's
no.
perfect is different. So what you're seeing on social media is somebody's perfect, perfect way that they're getting through quarantine may not be the perfect way for you.
No, it's
Claire and
not.
I are very totally different kind of people.
Totally
Claire
different
is very
people.
much like has like she's scheduled, like it's like blocked out. And I'm kind of like, I've always kind of been, I tell people, I'm kind of like that go with the flow. I'm like, we'll just go with the flow
Yeah.
until if there's something I absolutely need to be like, I'm that person, but I really kind of go with the flow. And so for me, that's been something, I'm not like, everybody sit down at the table and we're going to do math right now. I'm just individually checking in with each kid and say, have you been on your Google Classroom? Did you submit your stuff? Are you
Right.
staying on top of it? The older one, he's in college. Like, he knows what he needs to do. I'll see him randomly come out and grab his laptop and he'll be like, I'm taking a test for psychology or whatever class he's in. So just remember, it's about what works for you.
Completely. So one thing that I did with my kids is we have just been taking walks every single day, just getting out for an hour of just moving around and looking at things. Now that's not possible for every single person, right? Like maybe, your kids are too little for that, or you're really worried about your neighborhood. But if you can find some way, I think, to move with your kids in a way that is really fun, and de-stresses you. For me, just getting out of the house is so important, and just walking around in our neighborhood. We're not going anywhere. We don't have anything. And the fun thing has been to let each kid lead the walk. So where do we turn left? Where do we turn right? And discovering that, like, oh, I didn't even realize this street was a cul-de-sac. You know, like,
learning your neighborhood.
Right. I mean, I never go in and out of the streets in my neighborhood. I go where I'm going and I come home. You know, I mean, even just in general.
Right.
So that has been something that has been really nice for us to just breathe, and particularly because my kids really, really, really want to see their friends. And the fun thing is, because we go to a neighborhood school, we have crossed paths with some of their friends.
Right.
And that has been nice for them. Obviously, we
to
kept
see
our 6
somebody
feet and be like, okay, you could yell at them across the street and say hey and howdy, but you can't go over there and, you know, fist bump or hug or whatever.
Right.
But that has been really nice.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, it's a way to get out the house. I know my little one, he's been getting outside and shooting baskets, and he's got to stay active. First of all, he has got more energy than anybody I know. I don't even know how it's humanly possible to have that much energy.
I know, right?
Because his energy wears my energy down. Like, it makes me tired. I'm like, how the heck? My goodness. And so when he says I'm gonna go outside and shoot baskets, I'm like, go shoot baskets. Because if I try and keep him in 24/7, it's not gonna be good for anybody.
Right.
Purely me. So I really try and make sure he's able to get out and get active and shoot baskets and run around and, you know, that sort of thing. I think too, for us, last night was kind of fun because I bought, the last time I ran out to the store to grab a couple things real quick, I bought 2 decks of playing cards. And I know we have playing cards in the house, but you know how that is when you want them.
You missing
to be able
the
to find them, or there's 2 cards missing.
Thank
so
you.
I just
the
bought
2 got
packs
spaghetti sauce on it.
Yep, 2 packs at the 99-cent store. And I said, well, let's play a card game.
So that's fun.
It was just him and I, because my husband's been having to work on a project for work. My daughter was in her room, and the older one was not here. And so I just went ahead and we sat down, and he taught me a game that I had never played before that he learned last year at school, called Speed.
Oh, I love that game.
Oh my gosh, we had so much fun playing that. And then I think we played like 1 or 2 rounds of War.
Oh, that's always fun.
Which was fun. But we played Speed, and we were having so much fun. And he was laughing and smiling, and we had the TV on. I just kind of had I'm like addicted to home improvement shows right now on HGTV. And so I had that on in the background, and we just played a bunch of games. And then, there were a couple of times we both put the last card down at the same time, and he would just laugh and be like, how is it even possible? And we just had fun last night. And he was like, Mom, that was so much fun. You had fun too. I said, I did have fun. He goes, maybe we could do it again tomorrow. I said, we'll see. Now, my kid, he's the kind of kid that he wants to do it every single day. Entire schedule? No. You cannot commit to anything with him, because he literally will hold. Remember 3 weeks ago at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, you said, yeah. So I just have to do we'll see, because I don't want to, if you lock it in, he gonna make sure it's locked. He's got the elephants don't lose their memory. I know. I'm sure I was that way as a kid. He remembers stuff from when he was 2 that we're like, how do you remember that? You were 2. Yeah, be careful. But that was a lot of fun. It was just, awesome. I had made chocolate chip cookies. Like, my daughter and I hung out in the kitchen together, and I made homemade chocolate chip cookies. And, it was just kind of a relaxed, kind of laid back. Actually, the whole day was really kind of relaxed and laid back. Just taking time to do just little things and not really having a schedule, normally on the weekends we're running and constantly busy. And it was so funny because I kind of yesterday was like, it's kind of nice to not have any word I have to be or have to do.
I know. I felt that way yesterday when we were chatting, and just realizing I don't have a real schedule. It's so incredible to think oh my goodness, Like, we don't have 65 activities and 45 volunteer things and, 29 lists of assignments of things that, need to get done. Obviously, my kids still have things they need to do, but we have been kind of enjoying just that, like, hangout time.
Yeah.
Something that has been fun that we've been doing also to kind of make memories is having the kids watch movies that we watched as kids. So we watched Back to the Future.
Oh my God, my kids love that movie.
My gosh, my kids have never seen it.
I think I have the DVD movie
VHS
set or something. I think somebody bought us like the whole like set of movies for like one of my husband's birthdays. It's like the DVDs, like all of them. Like nobody really uses those anymore.
Right, exactly.
So
we had to stream.
You gotta stream it. That's funny because my son was watching something on his laptop and it was a scene from White Man Can't Jump. And he's like, I've never seen that movie. And I was like,
you're like, what?
Well, we're going to have to find this movie for you.
I know. So that's what my husband and I did. We went through like the little, Amazon and Netflix queue. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, they have to see this and they have to see this and they have to see this. Like, here are all these movies that I loved. Or even like.
Were they movies from the 80s? Because the 80s has some good movies.
Even like original Disney movies we saw, like everybody's had seen the remake, but no, you need to see the original. Like, this was the first. And that's just been so fun because, first of all, from my perspective, watching it, thinking we're trying to remember is really funny. And what was particularly funny about Back to Future, right? It's supposed to be all this futuristic stuff, and the kids are like, "Oh my gosh, that's so fake, Mom."
Yes. My kids love that movie. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a period of time, like, they binged watched, like, all of them, like, back to back. And I was like, how many times can you watch that movie? But apparently plenty.
Multiple.
So it's funny. I think that's something, too, I would love to do is sit down and just kind of say, okay, this is a movie I used to watch. Like, I saw somebody on Facebook, one of my Facebook friends, she was like, today is 80s movie day. She was watching movies from the 80s, and so she had named a couple of movies. And then she's like, what movies were your favorite? Girl, I could rattle on, like, 5 or 6 movies up from the 80s. I was like, St. Elmo's Fire, About Last Guy, Desperately Seeking Susan. Like, there was like a mannequin. How crazy. I've seen that movie in the last 10 years. And when I watched it, I was like, that movie was goofy. But back in the day, you fell in love with a mannequin that came to life, y'all. Why would that not be possible?
Why wouldn't it happen? It could happen.
It could happen.
No, cannot.
No.
I'm sure they have a diagnosis for that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because yesterday I told my kids, I was thinking about our conversation with Dr. Bennett and the reading. And I told my kids, we really need to make sure you guys are staying on top of your reading, if nothing else. Because I'm probably not going to teach you a Common Core class on math. Let's just be straight about that.
Right.
But we could all pick up a book. So it's funny because my daughter was like, oh, yeah. And she was like, yeah, but the book I want to read, I don't have. And I was like, well, what's the book? We have this thing called Amazon, and they're still delivering. And she was like, oh, I didn't know you would order that for me. I was like, so I went on last night. We ordered 3 books. My son wanted 2, and my daughter wanted 1. And so we ordered them, and they'll be here, I think, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And I said, now you guys have a book, and like, we'll take time to sit down and just read and take that time. I have a book that I've been reading forever that I'm trying to get through. And a couple times now I've picked it up and read a few pages of it because I'm really trying to get through it because I have this long list of books I want to read this year. Right. I got to make some headway on that.
Yeah. Now
what's a better time than now? Right.
Right. So that's pretty fun. I love the idea of just everybody getting a book and reading. One other thing that my kids have been doing regularly is actually, we've been using Google Duo, but just whatever platform you want to use to kind of video chat with somebody, they've been video chatting with their little cousins.
Nice.
And so we have some books that they have been reading to them, and then also teaching them. My kids happen to love languages, so they've been teaching them ASL and Spanish and French, and it's just super cute for them to be building those memories with their cousins, who honestly we see maybe, if we're lucky, once or twice a year because they live in another state. But now they see them every
thank God for technology,
day.
Right?
It's
crazy. My husband's family did a family happy hour on Thursday. So a bunch of us were all logged onto Zoom, and everybody had like a beverage or they were snacking on something. And we all had like a little quick happy hour, and it was so funny. I was just like, this is crazy. And the funny thing is, like, everybody is craving that contact and
Yes.
missing family, the get-togethers and stuff.
Exactly.
And so everybody's like, oh my God, when this is over, we all have to get together. But it was so funny because it was like a bunch of us all on Zoom having a great conversation and laughing. My husband's brother messaged him last night, and they played this game over the phone together. I forgot what it was, like this little guess, like almost like a trivia or guessing game.
Oh, that's fun.
And they did that over the phone, and my son kind of like peeked over and was trying to help my husband pick the right answers. And it was just something cool and like, yeah, just to be connected. And so I know I have a sister-in-law who has little ones, and she's like, we need to Zoom or something with you guys so we can see you guys and the kids can see you guys, because we haven't seen them in a long time.
Well, I think it's so important for us to help our kids find those social connections. We know that they need to be social, and it is a challenge right now.
And they don't want to be social with us.
Yeah, exactly. The people live in your house, that don't count. It does.
Yeah.
But there are so many ways that we can help them. Like if you have a grandparent, why not Zoom with the grandparent and have your grandparent? If you guys are, faith-based, have them read scriptures to your kids. My kids have been doing that as well with their grandparents, doing a devotion every day to just kind of find that connection and source and have that great moment of wisdom with their grandparents, since we're trying to make sure grandparents stay healthy and we're social distancing. So moms, I just want you to really get creative. Who does your kid want to hang out with? Who makes your kid smile? If that uncle who is normally goofy and silly and can make your kid smile, there are so many platforms. There's Google Duo, there's WhatsApp, there's Space Out Chat, there's Facebook Messenger Chat, there's
so many things out there. It's so funny because
FaceTime.
My son, one of his really good friends, his mom messaged me and she said, can they get together over Zoom and visit? So they've done it twice now where we've gotten the boys both in front of something that they can Zoom on, and they sit and chit chat together. I mean, I think they even both like took their devices outside and like were like shooting baskets together, but not together.
That's great. Right.
I just feel like this whole thing, the one thing that keeps popping into my head is I feel like this thing has been horrible, obviously, especially for those families who've been really affected by it. I think about that family in New Jersey that lost like 4 family members, like the mom and then like 3 of her kids. It's crazy. But I feel like this whole experience is I think it's going to have a lasting effect and a change on people. I think we're going to think more about the things we're doing and how we're living our lives. Because the rat race, we all know, it's like a day-to-day, like we're hamsters on a wheel. Gotta go here, gotta go there. I think it's going to cause everybody to kind of take a step back and try and figure out all those things that we're always rushing to do. Are they that important?
Right.
Or can we now take a look at this and make this kind of a blessing in disguise where we take a step back and really focus on what are the most important things and start weeding out the stuff that's not that important? I mean, I heard a statistic. We were in one of our Zoom meetings this week, and teenagers have higher anxiety than people did back in, I think it was like something like World War II or something.
I know.
And
what's going on, right?
Because these were so much simpler, and so I feel like we need to take a step back and try and make things go back to what's important.
Yes, go back to basics.
Go back to the basics, because
and I think we have that opportunity. I think, it's been 2 weeks of us all being in our house, figuring it out. I think we all now have our staples. We kind of are out of that like emergency mode of like, I got to get my family like everything they need, which I think for us mamas, because most of us were probably at the forefront of gathering those supplies. Like that's what we were busying ourselves doing. I think now let's take a moment and really think, what could we build, right? Like the situation is the situation, and it's likely that the next few weeks are going to continue to be the same. Can we take a deep breath and decide, these are the 3 things I really want my kids to know and hold on to coming out of this?
Exactly.
Because I think it's so easy. I am the queen of the guilty of this, of like, all the lists, like, oh my gosh, my kids could learn another language and they could learn another instrument, and we could, visit every single Smithsonian virtually, and all these different things that we could do, right? Like, let me make this the most productivity time ever. My kids are going to get a perfect score in the SAT and they're going to do amazing. Like, that it's so easy for me to go there because, I am myself and you would learn to love me. I'm just saying, right? So some of us might be in that category. If you are at all a little bit crazy like me, I want you to join me in challenging yourself to just take a deep breath and
And live in the moment.
think about the values you really want your kids to have. You want them to know they're loved and be loved. They want to value people and relationships. How can you do that? Right? And there are ways for us to help our kids think about others and not just be internal. One thing that we have done as a family is we have thought about the little people in our neighborhood that we know. So one, there are a lot of little ones that are doing bear hunts right now, going on a bear hunt. And so we have placed bears, stuffed animal bears in our windows for them to see, and like every couple of days kind of changed the little message utilizing, colored paper and watercolor and, dry erase markers that just can be wiped off the windows to our little friends. In addition, we have gone to friends' homes that we know that are little in our neighborhood, y'all. We're not going out far. And we've just written chalk numbers and alphabet on the sidewalk. And then left just as a surprise. And then because my kids speak ASL, when we did that very first walk, we actually found two little itty bitties that are deaf and are learning to communicate with ASL. And so that's a perfect language for social distancing.
Right.
And so we have gone to those little people's houses just on our walk. And if they're in the window hanging out, we have had a conversation, made silly faces. They're both itty bitty, so they're kind of still pre-language, just like any other 2-year-old. Some of it is a word and some of it is just gibberish. But it's been just kind of fun to play hide and seek in their front yard. Not really hiding, but with kind of your hands and peekaboo and those kind of things that we can just do from the sidewalk that brings joy to other people and help my kids think outside of themselves.
And you have to right now, because things are, and my youngest one just keeps saying, I just want to go back to school. And I'm like, look it, from the way I'm hearing it, I don't think you're going back to school. This is just an extended summer. Like, unfortunately, parents, I know you don't want to hear this, but I would bet money on it. But one thing I think is really cool is that a lot of the teachers at his school, they have Class Dojo, and I'm connected with some of the teachers on there. Well, the teachers are doing a parade tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they are getting in their cars with signs and they're mapping it out, and they're driving through the neighborhoods and waving at the kids from their cars and just to stay connected. And so I told the teacher, I said, please make sure our street is on your map, because my son wants to see you guys. And so I think that's pretty cool. The teachers are going to do a teacher parade. Which
that's so great. And maybe your kids can make a sign to,
that's
say
what I
hi
told
back.
them. Maybe we could do a sign and say, we love you, we miss you, something like that, And then my nephew's birthday was last week, and some of the neighbors got together yesterday and did a birthday parade for him. So she took him out on a little walk. And then she was like, wait, what are all these cars? And it was a birthday parade from some of their neighbors that did a little parade for him for his birthday. He just turned 6. So
I love that. I absolutely love that.
We're having to think of things to be creative and different. I think a lot of people's lives are going to change after this. And how many of you people who didn't know you could work remotely now know you can work remotely? And maybe that has been a blessing because your family life has changed and maybe even gotten better because of that. I think a lot of companies are going to be making that a possibility. Plus, it helps their overhead.
Right.
To not have you sucking up their air conditioning.
Well, I mean, just to stop and think about how we can help other people during this time, right? Like, it's been so helpful for me to help my kids. Like, there's a quote, I believe it's Mr. Rogers, who said, when trouble happens, his mom always encouraged him to look for the people that are helping and think about how they can help. And so I know that in this time, our kids feel helpless, right? Like, and so do we, right? Like, Corona is Corona. COVID-19 is itself. And if mommy could kiss it and make it go away, I sure enough would, but I can't. But I can help my kids think through ways we can help others. So I have like a list of things that I have seen people do throughout this time. And I'm like, oh, those are great ideas. So a couple of things that I've seen people do is buy little gift cards at the grocery store, right? We're already going to the grocery store. And then those helpers that have to be there give out those gift cards. So you can tape a gift card to your mailbox. If you have like self delivery where the mailman just kind of, personally lifts the trash, you can tape it to the top of the trash can, or you can hand it to them. You can put
the
a
garbage
gift
man,
card to who is delivering your things, whether that's Amazon
It could
or
even
Instacart.
be, what about even y'all know y'all all doing either like Postmates or Grubhub,
right, exactly.
or
Whoever the food delivery
DoorDash
people, right? You can give them an additional, like you can already tip them, but you could give them maybe something else that they need, right? It's something as fun, right? Some other things that I have seen is if you have a neighbor in your area that needs yard work, you can go and just pull their weeds, right? Like, especially if you have an elderly person who is staying inside,
right.
and you know that they have like that prized rose garden that they love, you can go help them out with that, and you don't have to touch them. The flowers don't have corona. Like, there's something you can do in that way to help. So help your kids think through how they can do that. In addition, there are a lot of hospital workers who are there all the time. There are some non-emergency hospital numbers that you can call the administration, and you can deliver pizza or your Postmates or something. They have to be there. They don't get a choice. So you can certainly do that as a family, obviously, if your budget allows, right? But, pulling somebody else's weeds doesn't cost anything else at all. Or you can have conversations, like I said, through the window of neighbors, that like, if you know an older person that lives by themselves, and they're in your neighborhood, you can just kind of write notes back and forth, utilizing a lot of different methods. The other thing, go ahead.
So something I've been doing is my Facebook Messenger. I've been reaching out to everybody, like a few people a day, just checking in, see how they're doing.
Definitely, we can do that for each other.
People really appreciate that. And then the other thing I'm doing is writing 5 note cards a day to people. Because how nice is it to get just a note card in the mail?
Just something in the mail.
I was thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. Please let me know if you need anything. People love to get mail that's not a bill or not junk mail.
Well, and we can have our kids do that. Like, it's a lost art for our kids to write a letter, write a note, so we can certainly do that. You can get stamps at your grocery store when you pick up your, toilet paper, or if you can.
And I use stamps.com, so I can print my stamps literally.
There you go, stamps.com. That's great. Another virtual stamp situation. So what I just want us as mamas to really, we hope you feel today, is just encouraged. Like, take the list down. Our babies will be okay. They will not get the same education that they would have gotten had they gone to school, but that's everybody in the world right now.
Right.
So if you can't do anything else, you are overwhelmed and you feel like I just this week, I cannot do it. It's okay. Focus on feeding your kids. They kind of have to eat.
They do.
And
trust me, they're not missing no meals, because when they're home, they eat all day. You're like, are you in the kitchen again?
Right?
Did we just have breakfast an hour ago?
I know. They're eating all day. And focus on making memories. What can you do? What do you have? And again, can you
make
just
this time
lay
special
out
for them?
Yeah, can you just lay out in the front porch or in your backyard, or look out the window and look at the clouds?
Girl, you have to make it special. I will tell you, today is the day we were supposed to leave for our spring break vacation.
I know.
We were supposed to leave on vacation today to our timeshare. And I woke up this morning thinking about that. Well, we were supposed to be going on vacation for spring break, because this is technically my kid's spring break week coming up. So that was frustrating to me. Like, we can't even go on vacation. And then I was like, what can we do? Maybe we could clean up the back patio and lay out in the sun and act like we're at the resort.
Yeah, you can at least look at the clouds and have those same relaxing moments you would have had previously, right? I mean, my kids felt the same way. Last week was supposed to be their spring break, and they were supposed to be with their grandparents. And they were like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I don't want to be with my mommy. I'm supposed to be being spoiled all this week with my grandparents eating ridiculous amounts of sugar. And that did not happen because they are here with me and my parents are safe in their house.
And you just have to adapt, right? So I'm trying to think about it now. What are some things I can do with the kids this week that kind of fills the gap of where we were supposed to go to Puerto Vallarta? So I can't quite make it like Mexico and the resort in Mexico we were going to go to, but maybe there's little things we could do this week to kind of,
Definitely.
I don't know.
And even if it wasn't supposed to be spring break, our kids need to be reminded that laughter can come from hardship, that joy can be experienced even when we're uncomfortable.
Yep.
And that really choosing to love each other is more important than anything else.
Yes.
And that it truly is a choice. And so I encourage you UI mamas this week to make the choice to demonstrate love to your babies in the form of making memories.
Yes, make those memories.
And if you don't get any laundry done this week, then you just don't get any laundry
done. Y'all
done
not going anywhere anyway. I don't know why there's so much laundry this week. I've been doing laundry like crazy. I don't know where everybody's going.
Somebody's stressing about it. I guarantee you.
Don't worry about it. Just let it pile up, y'all.
Our house does not need to be Facebook cute. It needs to be loving.
Yes.
And so, mamas, we love you so much.
We love you guys.
You have an amazing week.
Yes.
Please go and make memories, beautiful, fun, amazing memories with your baby.
Hang in there, guys. We love you.